Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your boy Vega Bomber, and welcome to Vega Bomber Land. Okay, so if you see me in front of a camera, you know what that means. That means I've seen a movie. So today I'm going to review the movie Tomorrow War. Now, this is a sci-fi action flick. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes long. It's starring Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strahovski. I can say that several times fast. Betty Gilpin's in this film, Sam Richardson, and of course, J. Jonah Jameson himself, J.K. Simmons. So basically this film is about a man, Dan Forrester, played by Chris Pratt, who's your everyday guy. He used to be in the military, did 2 tours there, but now he's teaching science in a school, and he's just kind of going through that life of, well, I guess this is cool, I guess this is exciting. And then, of course, they're out at a game, and here come these people through a wormhole in the middle of the game that are time travelers from the future, about 30 years ahead, from 2051, I believe. And they are captivating the field, saying, hey, we're going to come and do this field for a minute. I know you all are here to watch soccer, the World Cup, whatever, right? But we need help. In fact, we need to institute a worldwide draft because people in the future are dying so fast. We need some help. So they came through a wormhole to the present time, which is shown as December 2022. So they need help. They need to grab some people from the past. They're going to do this draft. As you can guess, Dan Forrester or Chris Pratt is one of those people that gets drafted into the worldwide draft to help the people in the future save the future, which would also be the present and everything else, if they can just get this particular thing that they need. I'm trying to do spoiler free at this moment. So the movie ensues from there. Now, what did I like about this film? Well, I can tell you this. I definitely appreciated the first act in the sense that at least they were trying to do something different. You start to see the action scenes right off the bat without the creature, which I think that's great, because I think the moment you show the creature, the more the creature's on screen, the less of the hole that creature can have. And the second thing I would say I like is the creatures themselves. I think the creature design is pretty awesome. Anybody that's a horror fan will definitely like the decisions that were made on the colors, the eyes, the way these things were built. And they're pretty terrifying. They're extremely violent and quick. So they have no remorse. They're just hungry, they eat, and they're aggressive. So that makes for pretty good villains. So these aliens, not weak, not lame, pretty tight. Then I would say after that, I like the idea that they said, okay, let's drum up some of this action, and then let's try to put some moments in it where there's some family pieces to it, because we got to connect to some of the characters. It can't just be carnage, or can it? Should they have done this film just like the way we want to see kaiju films, which is less human interaction, family drama stuff, and just battles between the humans and the aliens? I would think that would be a little better, because in fact, Chris Pratt, if we go there, I will say the things that I didn't like that much, or maybe it's the things I just didn't buy, is I just didn't buy Chris Pratt as a dad, and I don't think he could carry that dramatic weight that well. I think he does well as Star-Lord, he does well as all these other characters that's unencumbered with just responsibility. He's just that reckless, random, abandoned type guy. But here, I just didn't buy the relationship they were trying to build with the daughter. I felt like the film also had some tropes that I really can't stand, like when all hell's breaking loose behind you and they're just talking, having a normal conversation. You got these aliens that are aggressive and violent, all looking for you, and they're all over the place. But there's time for us to talk about our woes and how we didn't treat each other very well at one point, and I'm not going to be like my dad and all this kind of stuff. And it just didn't work. I would say the other big component to this that I didn't like at all was also the story. I thought the script was horrible. It did set things up well. It just gave you a bunch of set pieces, which I liked. But then the logic of the movie just made no sense. And usually time travel sets you up for that. And I tried to suspend my disbelief as well as I could, but this movie just didn't do it for me. Now, you might like it, and if so, that's good. If you can turn your brain off and suspend the disbelief as well as you can and watch this film and enjoy it, go ahead. If you're a big Chris Pratt fan, sure, you're going to love it. There's a lot of him chewing up the scene with his face and what he's doing and his everyday cool guy stuff. He does that. He does that here. But the movie itself felt like it was maybe 3 different movies kind of all stuck together. Like the intro kind of introduced the world pretty well. They kind of told you the rules in this world of what they're doing in terms of jumping back and forth, and you can only jump so many times and that sort of thing, and why elderly people or older people than younger people should be the ones jumping back and forth and all this other stuff. It attempted to do that, but I just got to say, the movie was a mess, and I felt like it went on about 35 minutes too long. I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't really care for this film. I can't tell you that you shouldn't watch it, because I think there are some great moments. There's some fun set pieces in it, some fun action pieces. Well, I'll give you one. There's a scene where Chris Pratt is down to the last weapon, and it happens to be an axe that he grabs out of the break in case of fire. And I thought, you know what? That's pretty cool to see him go at one of these things with an axe, going hand-to-hand combat with one of these things when it's multiply more stronger, quicker, faster than him. I thought that was a pretty good idea, and I can't kid you. There were some really good scenes like that in it. But I guess when I talk about the totality of this film, it's just not going to be memorable. Next year, I won't be thinking about this film at all, for me anyways. But you might enjoy this film. And I think in order to do so, you just got to turn off your brain, a bit, and just let it play out. And I think you'll see some great scenes, you'll see some great costume design, great alien design, and then you just have to get around some of the schlocky dialogue that was in there, and some of the over-telling and over-explaining towards the end, and then just the not good use of some of the character actors there. Like, I thought Betty Gilpin, she just doesn't have much to do as the wife of Dan Forrester, and it's basically more about him, a little bit of his dad, and a little bit of his daughter, and then a lot about him and his daughter, actually. But just the family dynamic, I just didn't quite buy it. They didn't quite sell. Now, this movie could have been great, though. I will say that. This movie could have been absolutely brilliant. What I think it needed to focus on was the fact that you're taking regular people who are not soldiers, and now they got to go into a war zone and fight. And we see soldiers come back with PTSD that are trained. Can you imagine people who aren't trained, which these people aren't? They're just grabbing bodies and sending them into a place to try to help stop the advancement of these aliens. But I think this movie could have been, if they really wanted to go for the emotional, it shouldn't have been just on him and his daughter. How about the whole world has to go into war? And war ain't no joke if you're not one of those people. If you're a conscientious objector, how are you just going to show up and stand a chance without even knowing any kind of basic training, anything, against something that they've already decided were some of the strongest, most fierce fighting aliens they've ever seen? So I think had they focused on some of that rather than just here's a guy and here's him and here's his scene and now he's gone. Like, it just, the character development piece was just really thrown out. And maybe people don't want that in a film like this. So anyway, those are kind of my thoughts. Again, is it a horrible film? Is it the worst film ever? Did it ruin my childhood? No, not at all. That's just ridiculous. Was it the greatest film at all? Is it the best even in its genre? No, not at all. This is just another film that kind of sits in the middle, and depending on how you feel about it, you're either going to love it or not. So, anyway, that's my take on the Tomorrow War. It's your boy Vega Bomber, and I'm out.